Hey team, so we are back for day 4 of the January Jumpstart Challenge. I have loved all of your comments, your questions, your interactions. They have been amazing, and I'm so excited about how much you have been open into taking on and really doing this challenge. So keep those comments coming. Let me know your takeaways, your highlight moments, your light bulb moments, or any challenges that you've maybe come up against, because those do come up when we do this type of internal work. And don't stress about having to fit it all in. I really like to allow probably the whole of the month to do this work and really sink into these intentions. So just to quickly recap on what we have done so far in the challenge. Your first was your reflection and review work to take the lessons from the year that has passed so that we can actually pull out that information and use it to get intentional about what we want to create for our future. And we're going to be getting a little bit further into that today. Then session number 2 was allowing yourself to dream the dream, to create this vision for what the ideal, what we would love if we were able to take any limits, any fears, and just drop those and to dream about what it is that you want. Then on session 3, we looked at turning up the dial on that, turning up the energy and really getting the connection, and also a visual image of something that we can refer back to, that we can look at to feel inspired. Now, with that, there's also an element that we get to be mindful of, is that difference between feeling inspired by something or looking at that and feeling almost an inadequacy and being able to say, well, I'm never going to get that. And just notice if you have those any types of feelings that you put onto that vision board, because if you did, get rid of those and then put something that feels a better connection for you. Now, on day 4, what we're going to start to do is differentiate what is a dream, that big lofty thing that feels amazing, it feels exciting, it's pulling and it's drawing you in, to now getting a little bit more specific about what our goals are going to be for this year. So whilst what we created on our vision board, there doesn't have to be a timestamp on that. It doesn't have to be, I have to have done this by when. It also doesn't mean I will only be happy when I've achieved this. We get to find a little bit of joy in the process, and that's really what our goal setting comes down to. Now, we often think about setting a goal of, I want to have achieved this set thing by this specific amount of time and have this end goal, but I also want you to encourage you to think about more process related goals. So what are the steps that we get to take to actually achieve that? Because I'm a huge believer that we have to become in love with the journey. We have to be able to enjoy the journey, because if you hate every second of it, then it's absolutely not worth it. So that is what we're going to be coming into today. So we're going to start off with asking yourself, if you were to look at your dream vision and then to say to yourself, what feels achievable for me to actually put down as a goal for this year? By the end of this year, I will. And write out the things that you would like to achieve by the end of this year. And of course, we tend to look across that full board of the different areas of our life, whether that was within our body, within our self, within our relationships, and within our career. So think across those areas, and you can really start to list out. And again, you can do it on a bit of a mind map. You can put down those ideas, but I would encourage you to not kind of spread that mind map too wide, to keep it as narrow as possible. So you might want to pick one main goal from each area. You might just be like, no, I'm completely happy with how this area is right now. My focus this year is on this. The smaller that you can keep or narrow your vision, the more likely that we're going to be able to take steps towards achieving them without feeling overwhelmed. So that's the first thing that you want to do. By the end of this year, I will. Write down some ideas. So just use a note paper on this one, and then we're going to start to cultivate that into your dream vision statement. So I'm just going to show you, this is in the 12-month Get It Together plan. I showed you this the other day. So you're going to have this page. If you have registered for the challenge, which I'm sure you all have done, you'll get this in the resources. If you haven't already, click that link to make sure that you get all of the bonus resources with it. So for those of you that don't have the planner, I've put this page in there for you. So the first one says, my dream vision statement for 2021 is. And all you're going to do here is start to write out a few sentences that really encompass how you want to feel when you've achieved that goal. So I'm just going to read mine out to you to just share mine for this year. So in 2021, my dream vision statement is, I'm healthy, fit and lean. I love my body. It moves with ease and lightness. I help people live their best lives by first living my own. I have set amount of income, because this is the thing, we don't always have to share what that set amount is. It doesn't matter what the amount is. You can write it for yourself. You don't necessarily have to share these goals with other people. So my income is, and I exceed it now with more ease. I have amazing family and friends, and my home in the mountains has finished its renovation. So within that, I have 3 main goals, and they are within my health and within my body. And I would say that I'm kind of definitely happy with where I'm at right now, but I want that to still be a priority for me. I know that there's still improvements that I can make, and I probably will put a little bit more specificity on that when I come to write the goal in the next statement. So really think about your dream vision statement of how you want to feel at the end of this year. When we get to the end of the year, what do you want to have accomplished, and write that in there. The next section is my power mantra and theme for 2021 is. So I always like to, I'm still working actually on my power mantra, but my theme is something that is essentially what is going to be your guiding word, your idea for the year ahead. So mine is elevate, and it was all around this idea of building. So I'm going to be this year building a new website. I am going to be building our house. I'm going to be building massively my business. So it was really this foundation of building, but then the idea of elevation as everything is going to be going up this year. So that's kind of my guide for this year. So think about, what is your focus for you? What's the priority, and what is the theme based around that? And start to pull out words. I would just go like on a thesaurus, and I wanted it to be build, but I felt like there was something, it needed something a little bit more. So think about what that word is for you. And then the final part of that is, if you are going to make that dream vision statement to come to life, then who is the person that you get to become in order to achieve that? What type of things would you have to do in order for that to take place? So this is where you're going to write my commitment for 2021 is. So what are the things that you want to specifically have achieved? So mine is to complete the renovations on my amazing family home. I have consistent amount months, and I have released a set amount of weight so that I can maintain that within my body with ease. So I have 3 main goals for this year. So that is my commitment for 2021. And of course, this is a very different year, that some things might be massively out of your control. So really try and dial that in of like, what are the things that are within your control? So maybe you just want to commit to being feeling more free. Maybe you want to commit to feeling more calm. Maybe you want to commit to prioritizing yourself. Think about what feels relevant for you in this year. Then when we follow on from that, we are going to break it down into a yearly overview, because when we have these bigger goals, what we might want to do is to really have this space where we come into each month, and it might be that one month you're going to focus on one area as a priority, month 2 you're going to focus on this as a priority, or even break it down into quarters. So start to map out that if you were going to achieve this thing, if you were going to be working on your health, January might be all about dialing in on basic health habits, really simple things that you're going to then sustain throughout the year. Because once we develop a habit, the idea is that we then can sustain that so that we can take our focus then onto another area. I like to write on this page in pencil, because my ideas shift and change all of the time. So don't think that you have to get this perfect. Have something that you can rub out and change and shift as you go along. And then the final part of this step, which again, some people find it harder to really quantify what it is that they want to achieve. And this is where we start to think about what our process goals are. So we have now our 90-day planner, which looks like this. Again, you're going to have it in your download for this day. And we start with the end in mind. So this is where you are going to put your end of year target in each box, each area. So we have a body one, we have a self one, we have a relationships area, and we have one for your career. So write down your end of year target for each of those, and then ask yourself, as I mentioned earlier, if you were going to achieve that, if you were going to be the person who has that goal, what are the steps that you have to or get to take in order to achieve that? So if you are someone who says, I want to release a stone of body weight this year, what would be some of the steps that you would get to do that? What would the process goals be? So you might have the commitment of your 30-day target is, right, over this 30 days, I'm going to work out at least 3 times a week. I am going to drink more water. I'm going to prioritize my sleep. So look at those base health habits, and that could then be your 30-day target. You can also break down your targets into benchmarks if you've got a specific number, so that you can write those. And I always work in the 90-day blocks, so working in quarters. So start with the year and then work those backwards so that you get your 30-day target. If you have any questions on this step, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you're coming on to the live session. There's quite a big one and a lot to go in this task. Don't feel that you have to have completed it all in one day. Allow yourself to take a little bit of time, settle into it, use a pencil so you can rub it out, share your ideas, talk about it, get excited about it, and think, whilst there is still so much that is outside of our control, what are the things that you can still dial down on, that you can take control of, and that you can still feel that you are having that element of growth and development through this year. So I'm super excited for you to get into this, and then make sure that you come back and join me for tomorrow as we get into our final one, where we're looking at the success stacks and habits that are really going to help you step into these goals even more in 2021. So I'm excited to see how you get on with this one.